Hi everyone, Saturday, December 20th. Not a bad day if it were October, but being that it is December 20th, unbelievably warm here in Lithuania. And that has been the trend pretty much all of December. In my last video on Thanksgiving Day in late November, we had that little tease of winter, a little bit of snow, some colder temperatures, but pretty much since then, it has been warm. In Fahrenheit during the day in the 40s, at night in the 30s. In fact, we had a couple days there where it was a record high here in Lithuania. About 50 degrees, which is crazy. I'm not a big fan. I'd love to have some proper winter, some cold and some snow. However, for my friends and viewers in the US, I know, especially in the Midwest, Wisconsin, it's been properly winter. Temperatures approaching minus 20 at night, plenty of snow, plenty of cold. So for those of you that wish you had a little bit of this, I wish I had a little bit of what they're having in the Midwest lately. But granted, I really don't want any minus 20, but anyhow, I did want to check in. It's been about 3 weeks since I put out a video, which is the longest I've ever gone without putting out a video, but there just hasn't been much for me to post. Not a lot of updates, not a lot of new content for me to share with you guys, so I've been kind of laying low. Still staying busy with day-to-day chores and tasks, but maybe not worth filming or putting in a video. But in this video, I'll just have a miscellaneous mix of things. I think I've got a couple clips, and sorry, you'll hear me mucking through the mud. It's muddy. I'll have some miscellaneous clips, some food-related things. I do want to talk a little bit about the forest, as I always call it, where I'm at right now. I talk a lot about that in my videos, and just want to kind of show you where it is, how big it is. I'll include some screenshots of just like Google Earth or satellite view. But thanks again for clicking on the video. Stay tuned. So here's a satellite view of where I spend the vast majority of my time. I mean, 99% of my time is spent in this little 2.5 kilometers by 5 kilometers area. And in the upper portion of this view, you can see where my home is. And here I've marked out where the river is. I talk about the river quite often. Honestly, if it was in America, I wouldn't even call it a river. We would call it a stream or a creek. It's pretty small. A lot of areas you can practically jump across it. Other areas it does get a little deeper and wider, but it runs right past my home all the way through the forest. And here I've marked out the roads. Black indicates that it's a paved road. We don't have a whole lot of paved roads around us. Brown indicates just a normal gravel road, and the yellow indicates something a little lesser. You can call it a trail, you can call it a path. Wherever you see yellow, it isn't really maintained. A couple times a year, somebody will go through there with a tractor or grader just to try to maintain it a little bit, but it's not officially maintained by the local government. And the orange circles indicate where there's been some recent logging. When I say recent, the last 3-4 years or so, which is a little sad. I'd rather see trees than clear cut, but it does grow back fast, and it does give certain species a little more area to hunt and play in, like fox and deer kind of don't seem to mind the clear cutting, but it's an unfortunate thing. Not long ago this was all forest rather than having these gaps. Hi everyone. There is something actually I've been wanting to tell you guys about. When I was recently in the USA, my mother was nice enough to offer this to put in my luggage to bring back to Lithuania. It's microwavable pork rinds. And honestly, I almost politely turned her down because I thought, oh, that's going to be garbage. It's not going to taste very good. They're not going to pop up. Well, boy, was I wrong. They pop up and they are absolutely delicious. The problem is, that's my last pack. I'm about to make it. And as far as I know, you cannot get them here in Lithuania. So if there's anybody in America headed towards Eastern Europe, please bring me some microwavable pork rinds. And it only takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes to pop up. And there you have it. Crispy, delicious goodness. You can still hear them popping and crackling. Absolutely delicious. I don't know how healthy they are, but what a treat. Fresh, homemade sourdough bread. Can't beat it. Hi everyone. For any of you that were watching my channel last fall, I spent quite a bit of time clearing out this ditch along our main road here, and it was jam-packed with just a lot of small trees, alder bushes, a lot of this type of stuff, and I did a pretty good job of it. I don't know, I went not 100 meters, but I'd say 50 meters, and it took me quite a bit of time. But as you can see, there's still some left in here that I never got to. It wasn't out of laziness or lack of time. It was just the weather kind of turned on me. This ditch fills with water, and who wants to run a chainsaw and brush cutting equipment when you're halfway up to your knees in water? So I kind of hung it up. But I do want to get back in here and clean the rest of it up. You might see all these little shoots and growths that come off of these stumps, and that's just the nature of these alder bushes. Really, there's nothing to be done about it. The only way to stop it from actually trying to regrow is to dig the whole stump out. But I come in here a few times a summer and just trim all this stuff just to stay on top of it, because if you let it go for a year, it ends up looking like this again. I probably won't record a whole lot of it just because running the chainsaw and all this other stuff, it's one of those jobs that you just gotta get it done. I'm not gonna mess around with setting up the camera and recording much of it, but more to come. So I was able to get a bit of cutting done, not quite as much as I wanted, but a lot of these others that were kind of getting big are out of there. Still got some bigger pieces in here. You know, I think they're all right. They're not really getting into the road. I'd like to cut them out of there, but as you can see, they're leaning a bit more towards this fence than I would like, and I don't want to take out the fence. So I think it's going to be a two-person job. One person kind of will tie a rope to the tree, and one guy can cut, the other one can pull. Plus, I kind of need somebody to stop traffic on this little dirt road. Believe it or not, we do get more traffic than you would think on this little dirt road, and I don't want to drop a tree onto a car. So these are going to stay for a while, but I do keep it clean. And by the way, I did get a bit of firewood out of it. It's crap wood. It's not like it's birch or oak, but I did leave it over by my neighbors. If they want to burn it, they can burn it. If they don't want to burn it, I'll throw it into the forest. And as mentioned, this stuff, if you don't stay on top of it, it'll take over quicker than you can blink an eye. All this stuff here was cut less than 1 year ago, and look at how thick it's coming back already. You know, it grew more than 1 meter in 1 year. If you don't stay on top of it, then it gets so big and so thick that, you know, it's just 10 times more work to clean it up than if you just stay on top of it like I do. And one other thing worth mentioning for anybody that has done this type of thing, the cutting is the easy part. It's the cleaning up that's the big chore. If you just cut it and leave it lay, you're just ruining it for yourself later when you've got to do it 6 months or a year later, because walking through all that down brush is just a pain, and it's dangerous if you're carrying a chainsaw or a weed trimmer or whatever. So cutting it down is easy. Then I clear it all out. I cut it into smaller pieces and I drag it and just throw it into the forest. And as shown in the opening little clip, I did put out a string of lights or two out in the yard for Christmas. Kind of looks funny without having any snow, but it is what it is. So happy Christmas and happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, whatever you guys out there celebrate. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. I'm pretty certain I won't put out a new video before the new year, but you never know. Beyond that, I also wanted to just quickly, well, you know how I say quickly and then I ramble on and on and on, but about these walks that I take and, you know, oh, why do you put them in your videos? And I totally realize that that these segments that I put in my videos have to be excruciatingly boring for most of you. I get it, and that doesn't hurt my feelings. Most of you have already clicked off the video at this point. I get it, but I don't really do these little segments or these little chats out in the woods necessarily for you guys, the viewers. I do it for me. Think of me as a lonely old man sitting on a park bench, just dying to tell his story to someone. I don't get a whole lot of social interaction here. I stay pretty close to home and don't have a lot of conversations, so me rambling on about pointless things that are of no interest to most people, I get it, and it is what it is. Again, I don't blame you if you guys click off the videos or fast forward through those segments, but I'll make no apologies, and I'll probably continue to do it. Again, I do this YouTube channel for different reasons than most YouTubers. I don't make any money off of it. I don't plan to ever make any money off of YouTube. It's just a hobby and I enjoy it. So thanks for hanging in there with me on that, and more to come.